hoping the weather stays nice today. I mean, these early clouds are never really a true indication up in the mountains. I can see some blue above trying to break through. The attendance coordinator at school spoke to the boss about providing some sort of reward to the kids who had really good attendance or dramatically improved attendance throughout this term. They're going to the Easter show today. People in Sydney will know what the Easter show is. It started out as an agricultural show many years, like 100 or so years ago. And it basically has all the sorts of things you'd see at an agricultural show: animal judging, dog shows, produce judging, wood chop, horsemanship demonstrations and that sort of thing. And it does travel around the country. Oh, there's also arts and crafts, and I remember my aunt got a prize once for a tatting entry, like a doily type thing, many years ago. And I've known people who've had artwork prizes and stuff like that as well. But there's also the ubiquitous show bags, which as a kid, that's what you want from the Easter show. But they're incredibly expensive. I mean, they were expensive when I was a kid, and I can't imagine what they cost now. And you really don't get your money's worth in them, but they're a part of the show. And there's rides like you'd see in any sort of carnival, like Ferris wheels and spinning rides and roller coasters. Anyway, the kids are being rewarded with a trip to the Easter show, and not so much you're being invited, it's you're being invited and the school is paying for it. That's a pretty hefty bill, I'm sure. Pretty certain that the coordinator set up on the thing, on the assembly, that the school's going to pay. I believe there's approximately 150 kids going and 10 staff, but one of the deputies is going. She asked the boss if he wanted her to see if somebody'd sit up in the chair for her for the day. And he said, oh no, it's all right, the other deputies are here. And then it turns out that the other deputy had an appointment today and wasn't going to be at school. And in muster yesterday morning, she thanked in advance me for sitting up in the chair for her. And I'm sitting there going, huh? And when I went up to her and I said, oh, you're welcome in advance. I don't remember saying I'd be up here. She goes, oh, we did. And then she started going through the conversation we had last week. And yes, I'd got out my phone, checked my timetable, said, no problem, if you need to take the whole day, I'll sit up here. Oops. I'm going to be the sole deputy with the principal today. And being that 150 of the kids are going to be away, roughly, we're waiting to see how many kids take it as a day off. Even though it's definitely been said to them, look, it's a regular school day. And we even put things on our social media, it's a regular school day for everybody else. Rather than having the head teacher admin say, well, I've got to cover all these people going out on this excursion. It was decided in the leadership meeting, faculties would try and collapse classes or cover internally as best they can. We do have a casual or two in the school. I think it's or two. I know we've got definitely one bloke. The assembly in the morning is basically to see how many kids are at school, to see how much extra help the head teacher admin will have to do. Tomorrow will be our cross-country carnival, and I think this is the second time that we're going to hold it as a whole school event. In the past, so many kids didn't take part in the cross-country that it was like, okay, it's only serious competitors, and it was run in stages throughout the day. Now I think last year they ran it as a kind of like a half-day carnival, and had other activities and games on the oval while it was on. Now, tomorrow, I believe, it's going to be a whole day carnival with food stalls and community stalls there and other activities to keep the kids entertained throughout the day. Because generally, the races are still run in year groups, or age groups I mean, and so the event would take the whole day. It just wouldn't be everybody involved. And apparently, to tie in with the Colour Festival, I think in India, they're going to do a colour run as part of the carnival. The kids have to have special permission notes from home to be involved in the colour run because of the fact that their clothes are going to get covered in colour from like coloured powder. I think that will be a spectacle in itself. I really hope this goes well tomorrow, because it's the kind of the brainchild of the brand new head teacher PE, who happens to be an ex-student who is in year 10 when I started teaching at the school. So, very enthusiastic young guy. The best of intentions for the students, the staff, the school. He is one of the people, I guess, that you could almost say is the image of the school. They were a student from right down in the primary school, right through high school, left to go to uni, came back as a teacher, casual teacher, became permanently appointed, had a stint at head teacher admin, relieving, then became like the 2IC in PE, and then got the job after the head teacher PE moved on to another school. So he sort of excellent example to the students that you can do anything in our school. So many people have a bad image of schools in Western Sydney, but he and many of the staff who are ex-students are an excellent example to our students, because they show the students, yeah, I came from this school and I'm now a teacher. So don't discount yourself. Don't think you can't achieve something. You can achieve whatever you want to try and do if you put your mind to it. And there's many other examples of students who have gone on to great things after school, but to see everyday examples every day of their schooling life, yeah, some kids actually get quite surprised when they find out that various teachers used to be students at the school. And we've got a few. It was a ramble that went up and down, didn't it? Better be able to edit that down well. It looks like what I thought was a lot of low cloud is smoke from yesterday's controlled burns, because this is the lower end of the mountains, Glenbrook, and this is where the burns were off in the national park. And if you can't tell by the sound of my voice, the smoke is entering the truck. This sucks. But it's quite thick, and is probably, when I just see the screen on the phone, I don't think it's coming off as thick as it actually is. But I can tell you it's coming into the truck and it's quite thick, so I'm hoping it's not settled down in the Penrith Valley, because that means it's going to be really thick around school as well. Obviously, perfect conditions for doing a controlled burn has a reduction, because they haven't had the high winds or the high temperatures. And it also means that the smoke just hangs around. It's not actually as thick down here as it is up in Glenbrook, so that's good news. It's Cross Country Carnival Day. First time, I think I said, that we've had like a full-on carnival taking the whole day, so we're trying to get the house spirit happening. Turning up in my house colours again. I've got my dragon hat in the back, my dragon tail to put on when I get to school, and I'm really hoping that's going to be a great day. The day is meant to be ending up with the colour run. Pretty sure I said this yesterday too. So the staff got the okay from the boss to bring super soakers and water pistols and that sort of stuff, because she's supposed to spray the people running in the first part of the run, and then they start getting the colour thrown at them further on, and it sticks to them better. So, and I have to say, all of the kids who want to take part in the colour run had to get a signed permission note from their parents, which means they'll get a special wristband that says yes, they can take part in the colour run later. And when they go in the colour run, they can either wear their own sunglasses or something, but if they don't have anything, then the school is providing them with safety glasses, so they don't go getting any colour or anything like that in their eyes. And they did say on the assembly yesterday, look, if you don't want to wear the glasses, or if you don't want to wear the PPE, these are the words they used, then you just can't run. So wear the PPE, have fun. And it's the same with my classes. Like I say, the kids who complain about, oh, I don't want to wear the boots. And I said, well, then you can't do it. You do the prac. Sorry. I had one who complained for ages the other day, oh, I don't want to wear the boots. And look, I said to him, look, it's a law. I'm sorry, it's not just a rule here, it's a law. You have to wear steel cap, you have to wear leather shoes in the workshop. And I said, and look, I'm vegan and I wear the leather boots. I hate the idea that I have to wear leather boots, and that I have to get myself, like I have to buy new leather boots every now and then. But it's a law, and if I want to keep my job, I've got to do it. I have actually tried several different styles of vegan leather boots. I think both of which I purchased in the US. One of them were really good. I bought 2 pair, but because I tend to crouch, I don't do that so much now. Too old, can't get up again. But I used to crouch down at the tables to help kids out if they were doing their design work or that sort of thing. So the boots would crack across the top. And it was because it was a very thick, stiff vegan leather. I had another pair that were a little bit softer, but they were still a steel cap, so I could use them for construction. And they lasted a bit longer before they started to break apart. I just find that if I want to buy a vegan work boot here, because it's not, here's the thing, to meet the Australian standards for construction, a work boot needs to have a steel toe or a composite toe for impact, and they need to have an oil-resistant non-slip sole for when you're working around factories, workshops, work sites. Puncture resistance is even better, and I've had boots in the past that have had a thin steel plate through the bottom of the shoe to prevent nails going through your boot. To meet that standard, the boot does not need to be entirely leather. They can have a mesh tongue. However, in a school, the rule from the school or from the department is a fully enclosed leather upper shoe. And that's because it's meant to help them out in both workshops, kitchens, art rooms, science labs. Especially science labs and kitchens, because spilling a hot liquid or a chemical on a fully enclosed leather upper shoe, it'll splash off the leather. If the shoe has a mesh tongue, acid and hot liquids will go straight through the mesh tongue. So to solve that, I just bought slip-on boots for all my workshops and kitchens, because no laces to worry about. I could easily get a pair of construction work boots that will meet the standard for New South Wales government and the Australian standard, but if I was to go into a kitchen with them, or technically if the department wanted to come in, they could go, that's not a fully enclosed leather shoe. Like my juniors, I check their shoes. Lots of kids have leather sneakers. Check the tongue, all good. If they don't have that sort of a shoe, check out a pair of boots. And yeah, so when I said to this kid, I'm vegan and I don't like using animal products at all, I have to wear the leather boots. It's just a rule. And he went, all right. He walked in, changed into the boots, got on with his work. And he worked really well. A lot of kids just don't want to change. Some kids, and I get this, they don't want to change their shoes because their mates hide their shoes. They take their shoes and hide them, because that's fun. Anyway, today should be a good day. God, I get off on rants, don't I? Sorry. How did I get onto leather shoes? It's a short follow-up from today's cross-country carnival. Whole day event. There was vendors selling food and football guys with tackling equipment, cricket guys with some cricket games and stumps and things. A dunking station, except when you hit the thing, the person didn't get dunked, it just dunked a bucket of water on them. Some netball stuff, couple of games playing out on the field throughout the day, and the races just kept going around the outside, so you could watch the races come past as they came through the playground. Roughly a 1.5k track, and so the juniors would do 2 laps and seniors would do 4. And then at the end they did the colour run. I was there with a big water sprayer to get the kids a bit wet at the start, and then the run through getting sprayed with all the different colours at different stations as they went through. It looked like a lot of fun, and then staff started getting into it, and the kids started getting bits of the powder and throwing it at the staff, and it just became exactly what you see with those colour runs. Lots of people just running around, getting coloured powder thrown all over them, and it was such a happy and relaxing afternoon. We ended up getting a staff photo of us all covered in the powder. I wasn't really going to thinking of getting powder on. I know that it came out of my skin all right. It shook off my shirt okay, but there's a few spots where it kind of dried the colour, so I'm hoping I can wash it out. But it was a lot of fun. It was a great way to finish the day, and a great way to finish that day of a carnival. And now we've got 4 days off for Easter, and the truck's booked in for its timing belt service on Tuesday. Hopefully the weather is nice over the weekend. Let's talk about the weather. No, I'd like to be able to get some stuff done in the yard, I think. Especially the lawns that I didn't get done last week. I'd like to get the boys out for a walk or two. It's Good Friday, and sorry you're down there, but I'm in my wife's car, just trying to get it driven a bit. I need to go to buy some fresh fruit and vegetables and go to the pharmacy. The last time we tried to go out in this, it didn't want to take off. It took a long time to start, which I was figuring a bit of a drained battery. But then it didn't want to drive up the hill away from our house. And we turned around and it rolled down and said, oh, it's driving okay. Turned around again, tried to go up the hill, didn't want to go anywhere. So we drove it back to the house and we went out in the truck. And we were really concerned that there was something missed when Jeep had done the last lot of work, because they said there was issues with the gearbox or with the transfer case. I took it out just up to the local shops last week and it drove okay, taking a bit of time to start, and again it sits still a lot so it doesn't get charged, the battery doesn't get charged. So in going out on this trip, it's a little bit longer than the local shops. Should hopefully get a good charge in the battery and be able to see how it's driving. It's driving fine, it's shifting gear, it's accelerating fine. I'm going to try calling our local mechanic and see what it might cost just to go down there and get them to run the OBS2, is it OBS2? The diagnostic tool that all modern cars have now. They've got the connection so they can run the diagnostics before doing anything, and see if there's any error codes. So if I can do that rather than having to hire a trailer, take this all the way to Jeep again, or chance driving it all the way to Jeep, which is a long way, I think I'll try and do that. See if I can get that done in the next week or so. But like I said, it's driving really well, and fingers crossed it continues to drive well. Well, wasn't sure if the fruit shop would be open today, being that it's a public holiday, and they're not. And you can't tell until you actually get to it. So I will continue on. See, it accelerated great. It's driving fine. So, knock on wood, it stays doing that. So I'll head down, do the bit of shopping. Maybe the grocery store will be open down here. I can get some fruit and veg from there. And I do need to get fuel put into here as well, so I'll do that on the way back to the house. I hope the weekend goes well. I spoke too soon, I think, yesterday, saying I hope we have fine weather for the weekend so that we can get some stuff done. It rained this morning and it's still kind of overcast and ugly. It stopped raining, but still ugly clouds around. The weather got nice. So I've come out for a walk. It's 5:30. So when we get back, it'll be time for dinner and Batman's shot. He's in Chile. I've got to get him a new harness now because that's as tight as that one goes. You can slip out of it if he tries. light's just right this morning. You can see a couple of big tadpoles in there, but you might also be able to see there's some really little ones just here and some over in the top edge. What I discovered is like that little pond there, which doesn't stick around for very long, was full of tiny tadpoles. So I scooped them out and transferred some to here and some into this one and some into different sections of this one. It's all connected, but I just sort of transferred them around. You can see one of those big ones just there in that pond. And they're living harmoniously away, but I know there's still some up in that pond. Puddle, I should say. Yeah, that one's got little legs on him. See his little legs? I call him a Mick Jagger because their little legs just sort of sit on their back end like Mick Jagger's hands on his hips, and then they just waddle around. They've grown so much. Hello, Mum. If you remember, I said there was some like tadpole foam and eggs in that bucket a while ago. Well, I just scooped this in. There's about 16 tadpoles in here. So I'm going to transfer them to the pond. Get the sun out of the way. I guess they're not all baby tadpoles. You can see the little ones, but look at that big fella. There was another one, but he managed to swoop out when I was pouring out the excess water. Back for the next bunch. So I've now relocated quite a lot of little tadpoles into the multiple ponds that we've got here, out of the little one that was over in the corner and out of that small bucket. Of course there was stacks in there. Trying to get the boys to stay outside for it while it's nice and pleasant out here. I must have got about 30 to 40 small tadpoles out of that bucket and 2 large ones. I know there's still more in there. They're just getting harder to scoop. The very first scoop had 16 tiny tadpoles in it. And then the next one had, I think, about 8 small ones and a big one. And fewer, but most of the time there was like 2 to 3 small ones in there. So we've got at least 2 types of tadpoles in the pond right now. Big ones are taking a long time to mature. The little ones just seem to become frogs really quick. Or I just wasn't keeping a close eye on them last time. But hopefully these will all come good. Unfortunately, I noticed that the water that was under the stairs dried up over the last couple of days. That had a lot of little tadpoles in it. And at first I was thinking maybe I should just flush it with water to see if they're still there. But it looked pretty dry. But just enjoying an afternoon. You can see the sky is nice and blue, clear, it's cool, coolish. It says it's about 25 degrees right now. That's why it feels so mild, and it's 5:15. I did want to mow the yard today. I'm not going to start it up now. So I will. Tomorrow being Easter, we're not going anywhere. Shops aren't open. So we went to the fruit house today. And I also went up to the shops earlier in the day, and yeah. But tomorrow we're just going to be here. So hopefully the weather's nice tomorrow. I'll come out and mow all the grass on the front and back, get it all cleared out.